Sup YouTubers, your girl Survivor here with part 3 of Psychic Medium John Holland experience. So, um, so he starts talking to, somebody else and then he goes back to, did anybody have a sister that passed away? And I said, yes, I did. And another woman in the back row right behind me says she did too. And then he says, um, you know, uh, like, are you the youngest in the family? And she said that she wasn't, and I said I was. And she said, but, after she died, I was. But then, he says, she's coming through with the mother figure, um, and he's saying, and there's something to do with music, and, my mother, I took singing lessons for many years and everything, and then he says, well, this person, I feel like, that they have twins in their family. My nieces are twins. And the lady behind me says, oh, well, I don't have twins, but I have 2 daughters. And then he says, I feel like, one of them is a school teacher. My niece is a school teacher. And she says, oh, well, she's not a school teacher, but they love kids. And then he says to me, oh, I feel like it's not you, sweetie. And he points to the lady behind me that's been saying, square pegs, round holes. And says, what's your name, sweetie? And she says, Carol. That's my sister's name, not the one who passed away. But he says, were you her, the mother, I feel like the mother figure says you were like one of her caretakers right before she passed away. She was like, oh, yes, yeah. But my sister Carol was also like, taking care of my mother before she passed away. But it was just so weird, like he kept saying, and he's like, I feel like there's something significant with the month February, well, that's when my birthday is. So, but at this point, I turned to my friend George, I said, I'm just so sick of saying, me. I mean, here he's getting clear, correct things going on, and I'm the only one that it's applicable to. At this point, I was just done, and he's like, oh, and they're here with like, the young boys, like, blonde, and he likes to play guitar. Well, my friend's son, he played guitar. It was like as if they were like coming through in, force now. Like, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. And he says, who has breast cancer? At that point, I didn't know that I had breast cancer. And maybe I didn't even have it yet or whatever. But maybe if he would have, like, just like smartened up or opened his mind, maybe he could have given me a forewarning or something. Because now, looking back on it, I'm like, just blown away, I just shocked. And, and he goes on to say a couple of more things like, he's talking, and he's going, and I'm seeing this, really big fella, like a real tall guy, wearing like, flannels, like a big guy, like, big, like a mountain, mountain man kind of. My friend Tom Pemberton was, that had passed away. His nickname was Mountain, and he did wear the flannels. In fact, I still have one of his flannels. And he was 6'7" and 325 pounds, and these people are like, oh, well, where we used to go on vacation, there was a statue of Paul Bunyan. I just shaking my head. Then he's talking to these people in the front row, and he's saying, and I feel like there's somebody, like, he turns to this lady, he's like, is your name Ann? Is your name Ann? Anna? Ann? She's like, it's Annette. And he says, I feel like there's a ring or something of your mother's, and there's a stone missing, a yellow stone missing. Now, I didn't know this, but when I came home and talked to my friend, the one with the son, her mother had recently passed away. Her mother's name was Ann. And Pam said, you've got to be kidding me. She goes, I recently came across one of my mother's rings, and the stones are yellow and one is missing. And he goes on to say, and there's somebody like a Don or a Donnie or Donald, and he, that was her husband's name. But like I said, I was just so done with saying me and having him say not. But so anyway, the whole thing, my whole point is that breast cancer thing was just, now I think about it, and I'm so angry at the guy. Like, why wouldn't he talk to me? Like, why didn't he want to be correct and on point? Why would he want to fit square pegs into round holes? It doesn't make sense to me. And I felt like gypped out of my money. Like, dude, you're asking questions. I'm the only one that they're applicable to. Even up to the paper with the written down, that it was so crazy that I don't know if maybe he was, when he was like saying, oh no, the message was for himself. Like maybe they said, oh, don't talk to she got breast, don't tell her. But then why bring it up? I couldn't understand, and I feel like I just wanted to tell him, like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why don't you want to be right? You're right on point, and you're just brushing it off. I couldn't understand it, and I still don't understand it. And I still want to, it's bad enough that it was 180. One of my cats just sneezed and scared Tucker. But just, $180, and this guy is just wanting to shove square pegs into round holes. So I'm going to put the link for one of his things, and you can see why I was, would go to, he was funny, he was comical and everything, and, but now when I look back and watch his stuff, I think to myself, maybe, people are placed into the audience, and he, isn't real, wasn't right, but he was right, and he could have been right, and maybe he could have forewarned me, and maybe, that's what makes me so mad. He maybe could have forewarned me if he wouldn't have been so dismissive of me. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't know. I just wanted to get the story out and tell you guys. I thought it odd, and I still sometimes want to call the guy and be like, dude, what's wrong with you? But I don't know. So anyway, that's my little life vlog for tonight. I don't know, maybe I'll come up with something else. I do love to talk. Maybe it wasn't so interesting of a story to other people, but I found it odd about the whole, you could ask my friend, they will tell you, like, how much this guy was saying. I mean, that was so on point, and he just had me to where I was exasperated with him just dismissing being correct. It was crazy. Sometimes I feel like going to check out this other one that's kind of close by, you know, and just seeing like a one-on-one reading. But then I think, oh, what if there's something and she's like, oh, you know, like if she doesn't want to say something, that'll freak me out due to like when I'm fighting right now and going through. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I go? Anyway, have a great night. Peace, love, and tacos. And you all are just wonderful people with your sharing your stories and your words of encouragement. And you've really given me, like, faith and humanity back because of the people that was, you know, that I was having to deal with just weren't what I was hoping to have to deal with at this time, you know? It's funny, they're always like, you just can't please her, but they're not even being pleasant, you know? We're just trying to be nice to her while they're, like, bashing me, and I'm just sitting here making these videos trying to be drama-free, and they're so twisted. But that's okay. They can be that way. Like I said, I can't make anybody like me, and I can't make people be likable. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Much love.